Welcome back to the deep dive. This time we're diving into high achievement with Achieve by Dr. Chris Friesen.
Oh yeah, this one looks good.
It's not your typical self-help book. Think of it more as a handbook full of psychology and real strategies to help you, well, achieve.
Yeah,
And you were kind enough to share some excerpts with us.
absolutely.
So this deep dive is going to be like our cheat sheet to the good stuff.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, what struck me right away is Dr. Friesen doesn't just jump into goal setting.
Right.
He actually starts with, self-awareness, like really understanding your personality, your values, even your hidden passions.
It's so important. He really emphasizes that.
So it's not as simple as just picking a goal and charging ahead.
And not quite. Dr. Friesen argues that a lot of people, they chase goals that just aren't really aligned with who they are.
Oh, wow.
And that can lead to, well, some serious frustration down the line.
That makes sense. I mean, the book opens with that story about the boxer, Danny Williams.
Right. Oh, yeah. Incredible story.
Winning a fight with a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, it perfectly illustrates Dr. Friesen's point. High achievers, they have this inner drive. It goes way beyond talent alone. It's that resilience to push through even when things get really, really tough.
So it's more than just raw ability. It's about having that grit.
Exactly.
To keep going when, honestly, most people would just give up. But how do we even know what we're aiming for in the first place?
Well, that's where Dr. Friesen introduces his framework of 5 basic personality tendencies. It's fascinating how he breaks down how these tendencies can really influence our approach to setting and achieving goals.
So tell me more about these tendencies. What are they exactly?
Yeah.
And how do they actually impact, my journey, our listeners' journeys?
Well, each tendency is like a dial that influences different parts of your personality.
Okay.
The first one is susceptibility to negative emotions.
Okay.
Are you someone who gets stressed easily?
Right.
Do you tend to worry a lot? This dial, it measures how much those negative feelings impact you.
So if my dial is cranked up on that one,
Yeah.
I might need to be more mindful, more intentional about managing stress.
Exactly.
If I really want to reach my goals.
You got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then there's extroversion.
Okay.
This is all about how you recharge, how you interact with the world.
Right.
Do you thrive on being around people? Seeking out stimulation? Or do you prefer quieter environments?
Right.
Maybe a bit more alone time.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that about myself, it could help me figure out what kind of work environment I'd thrive in.
Absolutely. Now, next we have openness to change.
Okay.
Are you someone who jumps at new experiences, loves shaking things up, or do you prefer, routines and knowing what to expect?
This one I feel like could be huge when it comes to actually setting goals.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not really open to change, maybe aiming for a huge career shift wouldn't be the best fit at that moment.
That's a great point. And then we have agreeableness.
Okay.
How you approach relationships, interact with others. Are you super cooperative?
Yeah.
Always willing to help out? Or are you more, competitive?
Right.
Assertive, maybe a bit more skeptical?
Oh, so this is about figuring out your style and teamwork and how you naturally deal with conflict with others.
You nailed it. And finally, we have motivation.
Okay.
How driven are you? This one looks at your level of ambition, self-discipline, and how much you enjoy going after those big goals.
So we've got these 5 tendencies. They seem pretty crucial to understand.
Absolutely.
Now, does Dr. Friesen give us any real-life examples of how they actually play out?
He does. He mentions Leroy,
Okay.
a talented basketball player who ended up finding his true passion was criminology.
Wow.
Turns out, Leroy was amazing at basketball, but he lacked that inner drive.
Interesting.
Because it wasn't his, true calling.
So even if you're good at something,
Right.
doesn't mean you'll find fulfillment
Exactly.
or even necessarily succeed if your heart's not really in it.
Exactly. It highlights how important it is to, understand your personality and what truly motivates you. He also talks about a hockey enforcer
Okay.
who was struggling with addiction,
Oh, wow.
which shows how, being susceptible to negative emotions can lead to, well, unhealthy coping mechanisms
Yeah.
if you don't have the right tools in place.
Those examples are really helpful. They bring it to life.
They do.
It's not just about labeling yourself. It's about understanding what makes you tick.
Yeah.
So you can work with yourself, not against yourself.
Exactly.
But wait, there's more, right? Dr. Friesen doesn't just stop at personality.
Oh, he keeps going.
He dives into values, right?
Yeah, it does.
Those core principles that, like, shape how you view the world and make decisions.
Mm-hmm. The foundation of everything.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we even figure out what our values actually are? I feel like that can get, pretty deep.
Well, Dr. Friesen has this powerful exercise.
Okay.
It's called the funeral exercise.
The funeral exercise.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So it's a thought experiment.
Right?
Imagine your own funeral.
Whoa.
What would you want your loved ones, your colleagues, to say about you?
Oh, wow.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
That would definitely make you think about what's truly important.
Right.
Beyond just like achievements or material things.
Exactly. And by reflecting on that,
yeah,
you start to identify those core values
right,
that you really want to guide your life.
So it's about figuring out what really matters to you, not just what like society or external pressures are telling you to value.
Yeah. With all the marketing and messages we're bombarded with these days,
Constantly.
it's easy to get caught up in that.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Friesen, he points out how easily these external factors can shape our values without us even realizing it.
I can totally see that.
That's why consciously taking a step back and reflecting is so important.
So understanding my personality, my values, it's like building the foundation for true achievement, right?
It is.
It's like setting up the GPS before you even start the road trip.
I love that analogy.
You need to know where you're starting from and where you actually want to go.
Exactly. And once you have that foundation, then you can start to, figure out your why.
Oh,
your purpose, your mission in life.
So we're talking about that big overarching sense of meaning.
Exactly.
But how do I even begin to uncover that? That feels pretty daunting.
Well, Dr. Friesen brings up Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust.
Oh, wow, yeah.
His experience in concentration camps, it shows just how powerful finding meaning can be, even in the face of unimaginable suffering.
So even in the darkest of time, having that why can be like the source of incredible strength.
It is. It's resilience.
Absolutely. And it's not just about, enduring hardship.
Right.
It's about finding that driving force that fuels your passion, motivates you to reach your full potential.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Right.
You figure out your personality, you get clear on your values, and that helps you discover your why.
It's all connected.
But how do you go from that sense of purpose to actually taking action?
Right.
And, achieving something tangible.
Well, that's where goal setting comes in.
Okay.
And Dr. Friesen has a very specific approach.
Okay, I'm ready.
He's a big advocate for what are called SMART goals.
SMART goals?
Goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay, I've heard of SMART goals.
Yeah.
But I'll admit I'm not always sure how to put them into practice.
Right. It's about taking those big, vague desires
and turning them into, crystal clear, actionable targets.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to get in shape. Pretty common goal.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, I want to get in shape,
right,
a SMART goal would be something like, I will run 3 times a week for 30 minutes each time for the next 3 months.
So it's about defining what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
How you'll measure your progress.
Exactly.
And when you'll achieve it by.
You got it.
That makes it so much more concrete than just, a wishy-washy intention.
Exactly. And that relevant part of SMART is key too.
Okay.
Your goals, they need to align with those values. Okay. And that why that we talked about earlier.
Right. It's about making sure these goals actually matter to you.
Yes.
Not just ticking boxes for someone else.
Exactly.
So my goal to run 3 times a week would only work if it truly supported my values and overall goals for my health and well-being.
You're getting it.
I can see how that relevance piece adds a whole other layer of intention.
It does.
And then time-bound.
Yes.
That adds a sense of urgency, right? It's like setting a deadline.
It is.
Which can be super helpful for staying on track.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying, I want to write a book, my SMART goal would be, I will finish the first draft of my novel by December 31st.
There you go.
Having that concrete date makes it feel so much more real.
It does.
And achievable.
Exactly. It gives you that clear target.
Yeah.
And a timeline to help you stay focused. Now, Dr. Friesen also distinguishes between outcome goals and process goals.
Okay.
He uses the example of Joanna,
a
swimmer who was so fixated on winning that she neglected the daily training and steps needed to get there.
So outcome goals are the what you want to achieve, and process goals are the how you'll actually get there.
Exactly. Outcome goals are the end result, winning that competition,
Right.
getting the promotion, whatever it is. Process goals are the specific actions you need to take to reach that outcome. Joanna was so focused on the outcome that she wasn't paying attention to the process, which ultimately held her back.
It's like that classic saying, enjoy the journey, not just the destination, but applied to achieving your goals.
I like that.
But let's be real, staying motivated and actually following through on those process goals, it can be a real struggle.
Oh, it can be.
Yeah.
And that's where willpower comes in.
Okay.
Dr. Friesen links this back to that motivation tendency we talked about. People with higher motivation, they tend to have more natural willpower.
Okay.
But the good news is everyone can learn strategies to boost it.
Okay. Tell me more about those strategies. I think we could all use a little willpower boost now and then.
Of course. He talks about something called the amygdala hijack.
The amygdala hijack?
Yeah, using the example of that hockey player we mentioned.
Oh, right. The one who was prone to those,
to negative emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. What about him?
So he would get so angry during games. He'd lose control, make bad decisions.
Wow.
Perfect illustration of this concept.
So in that moment of intense anger, his brain's emotional center just took over.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really thinking clearly.
Exactly. That's the amygdala in action.
Wow.
Dr. Friesen explains, when we're stressed, when we're angry, our rational thinking can just, poof, go out the window.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why having strategies for managing those emotions is so important. It's about preventing them from hijacking our goals.
So it's not about trying to become some emotionless robot.
Right.
It's about learning to handle those intense feelings.
Yeah.
So they don't sabotage our progress.
Exactly. Dr. Friesen also dives into habit formation.
Okay.
He argues that once a behavior becomes a habit, it requires less willpower to maintain.
Okay, that makes sense. Like brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about it. You just do it automatically.
Exactly. So if you can turn those, healthy goal-supporting behaviors into habits, you're essentially freeing up willpower to tackle other challenges.
That's a great strategy. But how do you actually make those habits stick?
Well, Dr. Friesen, he emphasizes aligning your goals with your values.
Okay.
If you're truly passionate about what you're working towards, you'll have more willpower to overcome obstacles.
Right.
And stay the course.
So it's about tapping into that intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within.
Exactly.
Rather than just relying on external pressure or rewards.
You got it.
Yeah.
And of course, he talks about taming technology.
Oh, yeah.
Those digital distractions that can be major willpower drainers.
Smartphones, email, social media, they can suck you in and just totally derail your focus.
They can. He recommends some specific tactics like scheduling time for checking email and social media instead of constantly reacting, turning off notifications, creating a distraction-free workspace.
It's like setting up your environment to support your goals instead of working against them.
Exactly.
Like you're hacking your surroundings.
I like that.
To boost your productivity.
Yeah. He also mentioned something called the 3 things exercise.
A 3 things exercise.
Yeah. A surprisingly simple but powerful technique.
Okay.
To combat that negativity bias.
What's that all about?
So at the end of each day, you take a few minutes to write down 3 things you did well.
Okay.
No matter how small.
Okay.
It could be anything from nailing a presentation at work to, finally cleaning out that junk drawer that you've been avoiding.
Okay.
It's about intentionally shifting your focus towards the positive to counteract that tendency to dwell on what went wrong.
I could see how that could be like a real mindset shift over time.
It can be.
This is all great information, but how does it all tie back to those personality tendencies? Does it mean I need to use different strategies?
You're exactly right.
Depending on my personality?
Dr. Friesen emphasizes that, understanding your own tendencies is key to using these strategies effectively.
Okay.
For example, someone who's highly extroverted might benefit from joining a group fitness class or finding a workout buddy.
Right, to stay motivated, while someone who's more introverted might prefer solo activities like running or swimming.
It's about tailoring the strategies to your individual needs.
This book is so insightful.
That is.
It's like a blueprint for personal growth and achievement.
It is.
And I love how it's not just about like pushing harder.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your true self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's remarkable about Dr. Friesen's approach is that he combines psychological insights with really practical advice.
Yeah.
He doesn't just tell you what to do. He explains the why behind it, which makes it so much more impactful.
And one thing that really resonated with me was his emphasis on regularly evaluating your goals.
Oh, that's so important.
It's about being flexible, right?
Yeah.
And willing to like adjust course if something's not working or if your priorities change.
That's such a key point.
Yeah.
It's not about rigidly sticking to a plan.
Right.
It's about constantly reassessing and making sure your goals are still aligned with your values and your why.
Right, right.
Life is constantly changing, so our goals need to be able to adapt too.
Now, I wanted to clarify something. Dr. Friesen isn't just talking about like professional achievement.
No.
Right. He's talking about all areas of life.
Absolutely. He emphasizes this framework could be applied to any area.
Oh, wow.
Relationships, health, personal growth, even just having fun.
So it's about living a fulfilling life on your own terms.
It is.
Across the board.
Across the board.
That's so important. I think it's easy to get like caught up
in the pursuit of external success.
Right.
And forget about those other areas of our lives that bring us joy and fulfillment. So before we dive into the specifics of like willpower, I want to make sure you, our listener, are following along.
Yeah.
Have any of these concepts like stood out to you so far?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Is there anything you're already thinking about applying to your own life?
Let us know. That's great. Yeah. Keep those connections coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to hear more about those like willpower strategies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about how crucial they are, but also like how tricky it can be to maintain that willpower.
Well, Dr. Friesen, he compares willpower to a muscle.
Oh.
You know, it can be strengthened with practice, but it can also get fatigued if you just, overwork it.
That makes sense. I definitely feel that willpower fatigue sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm trying to like juggle too many goals at once.
Sure.
I think that's really common.
Yeah.
And that's why Dr. Friesen, he suggests focusing on just one or two key goals at a time.
So instead of trying to like overhaul every area of my life at once, it's better to just pick one thing, really nail it, and then move on to the next.
Exactly. Think of it like training for a marathon.
Okay.
You wouldn't try to run 26 miles on day one.
Right.
You'd gradually increase your mileage over time, building up your endurance and confidence along the way.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It makes it feel a lot less like overwhelming.
Right.
Are there any other ways to like conserve willpower and prevent that like dreaded fatigue?
Well, he highlights those foundational habits that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Sleep, nutrition, exercise.
Okay. Yeah.
It turns out these aren't just good for your physical health, they're crucial for mental strength too.
So if I'm sleep deprived, stressed out, living off of junk food, my willpower reserves are like just going to be depleted.
Exactly. Like trying to run a car in an empty tank.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're taking care of your basic needs first.
Right.
If you want your willpower to have the fuel it needs.
Right, to function.
Function properly.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. A lot of this comes back to self-awareness.
Yeah.
And being honest about what your mind and body actually need to thrive.
Absolutely. And this is where understanding those personality tendencies can be so helpful.
Okay.
Dr. Friesen talks about how those tendencies can influence, your approach to willpower and motivation.
So different strategies might work better for different personality types.
Exactly. For instance, someone who's highly extroverted might find it helpful to, join a group fitness class. Or find a workout buddy to stay motivated.
Right.
While someone who's more introverted might prefer solo activities like running or swimming.
Makes sense. It's about customizing your approach based on what works best for you.
It's like knowing yourself is the ultimate life hack.
I love that. And speaking of life hacks, remember that hockey player who struggled with anger management issues during games?
The one who'd get like so fired up he couldn't think straight.
That's a great example of what Dr. Friesen calls an amygdala hijack.
The amygdala hijack, okay.
So the amygdala, it's the part of the brain that controls our emotional responses.
Okay.
And when it gets triggered, it can override our rational thinking.
So in those moments of like intense anger, the hockey player wasn't really in control of his actions.
Right.
Because his emotions were like in the driver's seat.
Exactly. He was reacting purely from that emotional center of the brain. Dr. Friesen helped him develop strategies to recognize those triggers and calm himself down before the amygdala took over.
So it's about becoming more aware of your own like emotional patterns and developing healthy coping mechanisms.
To manage those intense feelings.
It's not about suppressing those emotions altogether. It's about learning to handle them constructively.
Yeah.
So they don't sabotage your goals.
Now, we talked about taming technology as a willpower strategy. What kind of specific advice does Dr. Friesen offer for dealing with those like digital distractions?
He has this great concept he calls hacking your environment.
Hacking your environment. Okay.
Yeah. It's about making your surroundings work for you, not against you.
I love that idea.
Especially because those distractions can be so, sneaky and pervasive.
They really can be. What does he suggest?
Well, he recommends simple things like designating a specific workspace.
Okay.
Even if it's just a corner of your bedroom.
Oh, okay.
This creates like a physical separation between your work life and your personal life.
Which can be huge.
Which can be a huge help in staying focused.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
Especially if they, work from home. It's easy to blur those boundaries.
And it's about being intentional with your time and attention.
Right.
Dr. Friesen also suggests things like noise-canceling headphones, website blockers, time tracking apps.
I've heard those can be like game changers when it comes to minimizing distractions and maximizing productivity.
They can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
But he also emphasizes the importance of balance.
Okay.
It's not about becoming a workaholic robot.
Right.
Taking breaks, getting enough sleep, making time for things you enjoy. That's crucial.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exact.
And taking care of your well-being in the process.
Yes.
So it's not just about minimizing the negative.
Right.
It's also about amplifying the positive. Does Dr. Friesen have any advice on how to do that?
He suggests keeping a victory log.
A victory log, okay.
Yeah, where you record all your accomplishments, no matter how small.
Okay.
It's a simple but powerful way
to,
focus on your progress and celebrate those wins.
I love that. It's so easy to get like caught up in what we haven't done yet and forget to acknowledge how far we've come.
Exactly. It's about shifting your perspective and giving yourself credit for your efforts. He also recommends rewarding yourself for reaching milestones.
Okay, yeah.
It reinforces those positive behaviors. Helps you stay motivated.
That makes sense. It's like giving yourself a little pat on the back for a job well done.
Exactly.
And those little rewards can be like great way to stay excited about the journey.
Yeah. I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's not about punishing yourself for slip-ups.
Right.
It's about celebrating the wins and enjoying the process.
We've talked a lot about specific strategies, but I'm curious, what's the like overall message Dr. Friesen is trying to convey with all of this?
I think, at its core, his book is about providing a framework for understanding yourself and creating lasting change. It's about aligning your actions with your values, your why, and those unique personality tendencies.
So it's not just a bunch of quick fixes or like hacks. It's about a deeper understanding of who you are and what makes you tick.
Exactly. And that's what makes his advice so, powerful. It's not just about achieving external success.
Right.
It's about living a life that feels authentic and truly fulfilling.
I love that. And I think it's something that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's about going beyond just like checking things off a list and finding that deeper sense of purpose in everything you do.
One of the things that surprised me was Dr. Friesen's take on self-doubt.
Okay.
He actually encourages it.
Wait, really? Most self-help books tell you to like banish self-doubt.
Yeah.
And just believe in yourself.
Right.
Why does he take a different approach?
Well, he argues that self-doubt is a natural part of the growth process.
Oh, okay.
It's actually what motivates us to improve and strive for better.
So it's not about like eliminating self-doubt completely.
Not at all. It's about reframing it.
Okay.
Instead of seeing it as a weakness, see it as a signal that you're, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone and into new territory. He does, however, provide strategies for managing self-doubt when it, becomes overwhelming.
Okay, I'm really interested to hear about those.
Yeah.
What does he suggest?
Well, he recommends the 3 things exercise that we discussed earlier, focusing on your accomplishments to counter that negativity bias.
Right. Celebrating those wins, big or small, can be a powerful antidote to self-doubt.
He also suggests reminding yourself of past successes. It's like creating a mental highlight reel of all the times you overcame challenges and achieved your goals.
It's like you're reminding yourself that you've got this.
Exactly.
You've done it before, and you can do it again.
Exactly. And sometimes we just need that little reminder of our own strength and resilience. He also encourages you to, surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you. Having a cheerleading squad can make a huge difference.
I can imagine.
In staying positive and motivated.
That's so true. It's like having a team of people who are in your corner, reminding you of your awesomeness, even when you're, like, doubting yourself.
And perhaps most importantly, he emphasizes the importance of self-compassion.
Self-compassion.
It's okay to make mistakes, experience setbacks. It's all part of the learning process.
I think we tend to be so hard on ourselves. But, we would never talk to a friend the way we sometimes talk to ourselves.
It's so true. Self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook.
Right.
It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to, someone you care about.
Dr. Friesen also dives into setting up, like, a work environment that supports productivity.
He does.
What kind of advice does he offer there?
He talks about the importance of creating a space that's free from distractions. And, conducive to focus. He suggests designating a specific workspace. Even if it's just a corner of a room. And setting clear boundaries with family members or roommates if you're working from home.
So it's about creating that, like, physical separation between your work life and personal life, even if you don't have, like, a separate office.
Exactly. And it's about minimizing visual clutter and distractions as much as possible. He also recommends, using technology to your advantage, suggesting things like noise-canceling headphones and website blockers.
I've heard those can be, like, real game changers when it comes to, like, getting in the zone and staying focused.
It can be super helpful. But again, it's all about balance. He reminds us that taking breaks, getting enough sleep, and engaging in activities you enjoy are just as important as minimizing distractions.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And taking care of your well-being in the process.
He also offers some excellent tips for managing email and social media. Instead of letting them interrupt your workflow throughout the day. He suggests scheduling specific times for checking them.
It's so easy to get sucked into those, like, digital rabbit holes.
I did.
Having set times can be a real lifesaver.
He also recommends turning off those tempting notifications and setting boundaries with your devices. It's about taking back control of your time and attention instead of letting technology use you.
So much of what he talks about is relevant to, like, life in general.
It is.
It's not just work.
It's about being intentional with your time and energy.
That brings us to one of the, like, core themes of the book, finding your why. Dr. Friesen spends a lot of time emphasizing that.
He does.
Uncovering that sense of purpose that drives you.
It's like that North Star. That guides all your actions and decisions.
Exactly. He argues that your why is like the fuel. It keeps you going when things get tough. It's what helps you, like, push through challenges and stay committed to your goals.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about, like, setting goals. It's about connecting those goals to a larger meaning. A deeper sense of purpose.
Exactly.
He suggests asking yourself, like, big questions. What do I want my life to stand for? Or what impact do I want to have on the world?
Those are great questions.
Those are big ones. But I imagine figuring out your why can be pretty challenging.
Oh, it can be.
From people, where do you even begin?
Well, he suggests taking some time for introspection.
Okay.
Exploring your interests, your passions, your values.
It's like a journey of self-discovery.
It is.
It's about looking inward and getting really clear on what lights you up and what you care about most.
Exactly. And he emphasizes that your why can evolve over time.
Oh.
So it's important to, revisit it periodically.
Right.
What might have been your driving force 5 years ago
Right.
might be different today.
So it's not about finding one definitive answer. It's about a continuous process of exploration and refinement.
Exactly. It's a lifelong journey.
Okay.
Once you have a clearer understanding of your why, Dr. Friesen provides some practical advice.
Okay.
On how to, translate it into action.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay.
How do we actually take that sense of purpose? Right.
And turn it into tangible results.
Well, he suggests creating a mission statement.
Okay.
That encapsulates your purpose.
Okay.
It's like a guiding principle for your life.
Right.
A statement that, sums up what you're all about.
I love that idea. It's like having a personal manifesto.
Yeah.
That keeps you aligned with your core values.
Yeah. He then suggests breaking that mission statement down into smaller goals and action steps.
Right.
It's about taking that big, inspiring vision and turning it into something, concrete and achievable.
It's like taking that grand vision and turning it into a roadmap.
Exactly.
Of clear directions.
He stresses the importance of taking consistent action.
Oh.
Even if it's just, small steps each day.
Right.
Those small steps add up over time
Yeah.
and create momentum.
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly.
It's about taking those steps consistently, even if they seem insignificant in the moment.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
And he also reminds us to celebrate our successes along the way.
Yeah.
Acknowledging your progress, no matter how small, can boost your confidence.
Okay.
Keep you motivated.
It's so easy to focus on what we haven't accomplished yet.
Yeah.
And forget to acknowledge how far we've already come.
It's a common trap.
Yeah.
But celebrating those wins is crucial for, maintaining a positive mindset and staying motivated for the long haul.
What strikes me about Dr. Friesen's approach
Yeah.
is that it's so holistic.
It is.
He takes into account your personality, your values, your purpose, and then provides practical strategies for turning that knowledge into action.
I agree. He doesn't just give you a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
He recognizes that everyone is different.
Right.
And what works for one person might not work for another. That's so refreshing. So many self-help books try to offer a magic formula.
Yeah.
But Dr. Friesen acknowledges the complexity of human beings.
He does.
And empowers you to find your own path.
He provides a roadmap.
Yeah.
But he encourages you to take ownership of the journey.
Right.
Make it your own.
That's a really empowering message.
It is.
But even with the best roadmap, we're bound to encounter some bumps along the way.
Right, of course.
How does Dr. Friesen suggest dealing with setbacks?
Yeah.
Which are inevitable.
Oh, yeah.
On any journey towards achievement.
That's such an important point. He encourages us to reframe setbacks as learning opportunities rather than failures.
That's a great perspective shift.
It is.
It's so easy to get discouraged when things don't go according to plan.
He suggests asking yourself questions like, what can I learn from this experience?
Okay.
And how can I use this to, grow and improve?
So it's about turning those challenges into fuel for growth.
Exactly.
Rather than letting them derail you completely.
Yes, it's about adopting a growth mindset. And he also encourages, seeking support from others when you're struggling.
Right.
We don't have to go through these setbacks alone.
That's so important. Sometimes just having someone to talk to and offer a different perspective can be incredibly helpful.
Absolutely.
He also emphasizes the importance of self-care.
Yeah, that comes up a lot.
When you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, it's crucial to take time for yourself to recharge and replenish those energy reserves.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
We tend to put our own needs on the back burner when we're, focused on achieving goals.
But he reminds us that self-care is not selfish.
Right.
It's actually essential.
It is.
For like sustainability and long-term success.
Right.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
I love that one.
You need to take care of yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
In order to have the energy and focus
right.
to pursue your goals effectively.
You know, another key element that Dr. Friesen emphasizes is cultivating a positive mindset.
Okay.
He argues that our thoughts and beliefs, they have a powerful impact on our actions and outcomes.
So it's not just about what we do, it's about how we think about what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our mindset can either, help us or hinder us.
Right.
He suggests practicing gratitude.
Okay.
Focusing on your strengths and surrounding yourself with positive people.
Those are all like great strategies for shifting your mindset to a more like optimistic and productive place.
Absolutely.
And he reminds us that it takes consistent effort.
It does.
To like cultivate a positive mindset. It's not a one-time fix, it's an ongoing practice. It's like building a muscle.
It is.
The more you practice, the easier it becomes to like maintain that positive outlook, even when faced with challenges.
Exactly. And it's a skill that anyone can develop. With practice.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah, this book is packed with so much wisdom and practical advice.
Before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, I'd love to hear what's like resonating with you, our listener.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways that have stood out to you?
What are you thinking about?
Yeah, it's amazing how much we've been able to like unpack.
I know, right?
From just these excerpts.
It's incredible.
Dr. Friesen really covers it all.
He really does. And remember, it's not just about, reaching some arbitrary definition of success.
Right.
He talks about setting goals for all areas of life. Personal growth, relationships, health, even, even fun.
That's so important. Sometimes we get so caught up in chasing external achievements that we forget about those other areas that truly make life, rich and meaningful.
It's so easy to fall into that trap. But Dr. Friesen reminds us that true fulfillment comes from finding that balance across all aspects of our lives.
I'm so glad we took this deep dive into achieve.
You do.
I feel like I've walked away with like a whole new toolkit for approaching my goals and just like living a more intentional life.
Absolutely. Dr. Friesen's book, it's a real gem.
It is.
It's filled with, wisdom and practical advice that can help anyone really tap into their potential and create a life they love.
And for you listening, we hope this deep dive has like sparked some ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inspired you to take a closer look at your own life.
What are you going to achieve?
Yeah. What are those values that are like at your core? What's your why? That driving force that gives your life meaning?
Right.
What small step can you take today to move closer to the life you envision?
What's that one step?
Remember, achievement isn't just about like reaching some distant destination.
Right.
It's about the journey, the daily choices you make, the person you become along the way.
Beautifully said. It's about embracing the process.
Yeah.
Learning from those inevitable setbacks, celebrating your wins.
Big and small.
Big and small.
And remember, it's never too late.
Never too late.
To start creating a life that truly like lights you up.
Absolutely.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Love it.
Taking those steps. One day at a time.
Yeah, it's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure taking this deep dive with you.
Likewise. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep striving.
Keep striving and keep reaching for those stars.
Absolutely.